guys, Mothership 11 has arrived. And quick story, by the way, I'm Alicia. If it's your first time here, let me lower this. Perfect. I love Pat McGrath. I have all her palettes. I have several videos on my channel, from playlists to all the things. And I had worked with the brand where they sponsored a video where I showcased Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction. And in fact, the brand did send me the palette, but for some reason, FedEx did not drop it off. I received an alarming email stating that FedEx was unable to deliver the package and it was going to be sent back. This was on Friday, by the way. I have no idea what happened to SUNLIT Seduction. It is floating in the ether somewhere. So the brand did send me the palette for PR, but it's not here. However, shout out to Charlotte Holdcroft. Hi, Charlotte. Shared a mighty helpful discount code and the fact that SUNLIT Seduction was available even when it's slated to release this coming Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Not only did I get 30% off, but it came early before the actual release. So it's all good. Thank you, Charlotte. We appreciate that. Also, there'll be timestamps down below if you wish to skip over to the swatches, to the demos, what have you. I just wanted to touch base on my initial thoughts when I saw SUNLIT Seduction for the first time, Mothership 11. I understand people's frustrations, and I touched on this when speaking about Isamaya's palette, Industrial 2.0, where I look to now other brands for the more pizzazzy, unique color stories and unique shadow finishes if I wanted to get away from the pinks a little bit. And I think people give Pat a hard time because Pat opened the eyeshadow category in her brand with the beloved first three, the holy trinity, I think, of all her motherships. That is subliminal, sublime, and subversive. Those color stories, I think, truly represent Pat McGrath's artistry, her vision. But this was before, I think, her brand exploded. And when she was, I'm not sure if the brand was bought or, their investors involved. Let me know down below if, the facts on that. But now there was a stricter quota, okay? And ever since Divine Rose hit the market, I think that truly just made an impact on sales, and people love the pinks. And thereafter, it was just pink, 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 pink. Divine Rose 2 is a little more vibrant. Huetopian Dream had the coral and the amethyst shades, so it was like a little mixture of both. Moonlit Seduction, by far my favorite out of what was released thus far in the pink category story of things. And then we have SUNLIT Seduction, Mothership 11, which was giving me, and by the way, this is the packaging. I kind of love the sunglasses, or these glass frames with the angel wings, kind of fun. These summery warm pink types of shades are just right up my alley. I can't help but love them. I'm a basic AFB, as you know, and I gravitate towards these shades 100%. I will hold this side by side to Byredo's Remembrance, because I do feel Remembrance, like as soon as I saw these colors, I'm like, Remembrance. Here it is. Ooh, all the shadows are intact, untouched, brand new. Here you are, SUNLIT Seduction, Mothership 11. A few details on this palette. It does retail for $128. I think, $3 more. It was like $125 at one point. I forgot. But we got 30% off. In addition, with this purchase, we received a gift. A mini Divine Blush in my favorite shade, Paradise Venus. Isn't that precious? And a mini Extreme Black Permagel liner. So listen, I know people don't like minis, but I love this. Are you kidding me? My one and done all-time favorite blush shade in a travel size. I applied it on here, as well as the Sun-Kissed Seduction Legendary Color Bomb. I'm just gonna put a little more here because you can never get enough Paradise Venus. We got the price down, and of course this palette is made in Italy. 10 shades, and if it's your first time encountering a Pat McGrath Mothership palette, usually how the motherships are arranged are the first 6 will house matte, metallic, and pearl finishes, and the last 4 are the more specialized textures, the Blitz, VRs, the Astrals, all those shades that we found in the previous 10 motherships. Listen, these got me, man. The warmy pinky mattes, I can't help it. I just love those colors. Let's first start off with Skin Tense Radiance. I don't have Let me see if I can find these shade descriptions, because I would love if I get some insight on that. A soft coral shimmer is hard to pick up the pink on camera, but you have that champagne base, and when I turn my wrist down, you can see a little bit of that coral. And my apologies for the chipped nail polish. I expected actually this palette to arrive tomorrow. That's what UPS said, but lo and behold, it arrived a day early. We like that, unlike FedEx. Extreme Vermilion Dusk is a burnished vermilion matte. Ooh, that's pretty. It's kind of like a plummy vermilion. Vermilion Venom is much more red leaning in Midnight Sun. My personal favorite. Nude Rose is a warm nude rose matte. Ooh, kind of on the mauve-y side. I like that. Copper Dawn is a gleaming soft copper metallic. Ooh, that has a little bit of that coral. Isn't that beautifully smooth? My goodness, that's pretty. I know it's basic. I know we've seen these shades. I know. It's pretty, okay? Let me move this phone over here. Okay. Display, do not turn off. I gotta read these shade descriptions, all right? You know, I realized I forgot to buy the primer. I was so in a rush to buy the palette and anticipating to see if Thanks 30 would work. I forgot to buy the stupid primer. On standby, I'm afraid, friends. I'm sorry about that. But you have your favorite influencers you could visit on the primer for sure. Up next, we have Hypnotic Bronze. Unfortunately, I can't locate a description for this shade, but that looks to be like a rose leaning bronze. Is very unique. It's not completely bronze. There's some warmth in there. There's a little bit of, yes, that rosiness, which I love. I love that hybrid color. Sienna Mystique, a soft, warm terracotta matte. Definitely more rose leaning versus the mauve tinge you see here. Now we get the fun shades. First up, we have Astral Pink Fetish. Ooh, already. My goodness. This is kind of like the Divine highlighter, just that classic pink to gold shift, but it's a lot more flaky. So you got that duochrome feel. You gotta make sure you blend that in, but my goodness, the shine on that is insane. And there's like a little bit, the gold I think kind of leans lime too. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. And quite smooth. When you press down the flakes, look at that. I'll take it. I was waiting for this Astral Amethyst Allure just from the color description alone. Ooh, that's pretty. It kind of reminds me of Eleganza, but this is in the Astral formula. So again, a little drier, flakier, but that gives us more reflectivity. Blitz Crimson Ecstasy is creamy. It's not as dry as Astral, both the Astral shades. This is, look at that. Look at the texture there. Gleaming red foiled metallic. What in the world is that? My goodness. That's creamy. Can you see that? My goodness. Wow. And lastly, we have Astral Gilded Aura, a sparkling golden peach with iridescent pearls. Oh my goodness. Definitely like the Astral shades here, but look at that shine. Again, looking at golden peach indeed. Ooh, definitely a duochrome from this angle. Can you see it looks more yellow gold? And up front, you see more peach. Ooh, that's pretty. Now that we have our swatches out the way, it's time for you to come in a little closer. That's enough. I don't have Pat's new primer. Maybe if the package, the PR package gets sent again, it will have the primer. For now, I'll use Linda's Till the End eye primer, which I like. I've been using consistently. I'll start off with Nude Rose on one eye and Sienna Mystique on the other. Fluffy brush. Do I wanna? Yes, I do. Fluffy brush. Going in with Sonia G's Blender Pro. First with Nude Rose. I'm gonna start on the outer lid and let's pull that through. The pink is coming through strong, friends. In terms of blendability, soft focus, easy to get on, also easy to build. I think you can definitely pick up that shade, you know what I'm saying? Let's see how Sienna Mystique, however, appears. Probably will get yeah, a warmer, more terracotta feel to the color compared to nude. Rose, yes. Oh, that's pretty. It's kind of giving me Paradise Venus feels for sure. Carrying nude rose here under the eyes, maybe a quarter in, and then Sienna Mystique here on this side. Oh yeah, Sienna Mystique is pretty. Vermilion, no, Extreme Vermilion Dusk. I'd love to see what Extreme Vermilion Dusk is giving on the Sienna Mystique side. This is a Byredo brush, a very soft gray squirrel pencil brush, but I do like to use these types on the outer V for more precision and control. Tapping here first and then pulling through. Definitely giving me plum vibes for sure. And some depth, 100%. So not only does this make a pretty nice outer lid color, but I could imagine how it'll serve as wing liner. Extreme Vermilion Dust is giving me a little patchiness. It could be the brush, it could be my technique. I'm not too worried about it because I could use another brush if I decide to replicate this look again. But it's alright. You know, for the most part, I think from here you could see the haze. Yes, and you can see the color. I do like how it appears on top of Sienna Mystique. Definitely going in with Hypnotic Bronze on this side because I adore this color. And of course, Pat Metallics are creamy, have nice adherence to the skin. Yeah, but it also serves as a beautiful smoky moment to the entire lid where you could apply Hypnotic Bronze and lightly dust the edges with the medium tone matte here because already that's giving really nice smoke. But now I would love to go in with one of the Astral shades. I'm feeling the Allure, the Amethyst Allure, but I'm placing that on the inner lid. Yes, just to lightly dust over Hypnotic Bronze because I want to go in with Skin Tense Radiance separately on the inner corner, just here. Tap to tap, lightly overlapping, just so you can see the contrast between Skin Tense and the Astral Allure. What is it called again? Astral Amethyst Allure. We definitely want to go in with this one, Astral Gilded Aura, on the very inner part of my eye because I think that will appear beautifully bright. And because this is a little drier and flakier, I think it best to stamp instead of drag. Okay, here we go. I love that. That's pretty. Now I could go in with Copper Dawn, but I have to go in with Blitz Crimson Milk Ecstasy. I got it. Definitely going in with my Tao House brush. That a video is coming on the Tao House line from Fude Beauty for sure. I'm gonna wiggle back and forth because I just wanna. Nope. No. This is very tight in the pan. So it'll be interesting to find out what brush can work with this texture because it's flaky, but it's creamy. I'm not sure people are gonna like it, especially if you have a lot of lid texture because it translates well as a swatch. But application, I think is a little too creamy. It's gonna be a little too creamy for some people's liking. Let me use my Surratt a little better. I would still recommend that you, if not your finger, a sponge tip applicator to get this on your lid. I'm patting down around, trying to spread it out. I mean, the end result is beautiful. Little tricky to apply. And if you want, you could go in and tap with your finger over the parts that need a little more coverage, because when I went over with my shader brush, it kind of took away some of the shadow. Astral Pink Fetish for sure. Inner corner. Tap it a tap here. Very Valentine's Day, but lovely on the inner corner if you wanted something more reflective and not want to use Skin Tense Radiance. But why not? Let's 100% use Copper Dawn here. Oh yes, that coral metallic shade, beautiful on the lower inner corner. But I want to bring in a little more nude rose here, and want to also overlap Copper Dawn over nude rose. Yes, I'm placing a little more the Blitz Crimson here on the outer corner. It's funny, as much as this shade is lovely as a swatch, I'm gonna deem this as the problem shade. I'm gonna deem this as the problem shade in Sunlit Seduction. You'll see what I mean when you play with it. That is a little, is like so creamy that is hard to move across your lid and not as easily to maneuver like her more traditionally formulated metallics, which is a shame because I love the color. But I'm already sensing more consistency in Moonlit Seduction. I feel like Moonlit Seduction, all the shades in here performed beautifully well. Even this one, because this one has like a similar vibe to Blitz Crimson, but because it's lighter, it applies better. That's just what I'm hypothesizing at the moment. But let's just slap on some lashes, see how the first round looks, and then we'll get into round 2. Be back in a minute. And here are our looks from round 1. I do love my Sienna Mystique side, but the crimson side is cool. Color-wise, I like it. I'm not crazy about the Blitz Crimson texture. If it was more of a traditional Blitz baked shade, I think it would have not only been easier to apply, but definitely have like that beautiful burnished look. It's definitely more magenta leaning than Blitz Fire from Mothership 5 Brown Seduction. But let's get into round number 2, where I want to play with the astral shades more on the lid, see what that gives us, and also maybe simplify some stuff. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see when we get there. Be back in a bit. I applied concealer on my eyes instead of Linda's primer because as I remove, my eyelids become a little drier, which is why I'm kicking myself. Why did I forget to buy the primer? Starting off with Copper Dawn, I want to see what this does by itself. If I wanted to approach this in the most simplest way, right, what can we get from just applying the metallic? Now, Hypnotic Bronze is already my favorite because I love the tone of that metallic where the shade itself serves as a beautiful one and done moment for the eyes. And the texture of Copper Dawn is lovely as well. It's smooth, it moves across the crease well. If I wanted to, I could most certainly use one of the mattes to fluff the edges, right? So just fluffing the edges of Copper Dawn. But I'll go in now with Sienna Mystique lightly here through the crease because I think the terracotta tone from Sienna Mystique matches beautifully well with the coral hue of Copper Dawn. That's pretty. Now with Extreme Vermilion Dusk across the lash line because this certainly packed a punch when I applied it on my outer lid. But if we wanted to see what it does as a shadow liner, we most certainly can check it out. Okay, trying to get this wing angle correct. All right, not too bad. You can see the color well on the lash line. There's contrast there. Figuring out what I can apply Hypnotic Bronze on the lower lash line for sure. Pulling this across. Okay. I love the haze that creates. Astral Gilded Aura. On the inner corner, let's tappity tap. I also want to see what Astral Amethyst Allure can do if we lightly tap with our finger and then tap that on top of Copper Dawn. That invites a different shade altogether, but because of the more lightweight texture of the astral shades, you can definitely get away with layering. But also introducing more reflectivity, right? Because the astral shades will have a little more shine than the metallics. And if you wanted to invite more of that shine here, either whether it was amethyst or the Astral Pink Fetish. Astral Pink Fetish probably would have been a more fitting match, but I was curious to see how applying something more cool over something more warm would appear, and I'm not mad at it. I like it. As I had said before, wanted to experiment with the actual shades on the lid. First, I'll go in with, let's see here. I want to set up the eye with the matte because if I go in with the actual shade first and whip a matte through my crease, it's possible that the flecks will fall on my face because it's just drier and doesn't have as much adherence as the metallic. So I think, you know what? I'm going to do Hypnotic Bronze absolutely through the crease. I know that is an escape, but I'm very much influenced by Izamea's palette. I have been putting all the metallics through my crease and I don't care. This works out though. Look how beautiful that color is. Forget it, please. Now with Astral Pink Fetish. Whoa. That's shiny. Placing that majority of the lid. I also want to see what can we do. I want to tappity tap something. I'm going to go in with Extreme Vermilion and just lightly tap here on the outer V to invite a little more intensity, and notice that I'm tapping and not sweeping because I don't want the flecks from the Astral Pink Fetish shade to fall. Now with a softer brush, just the top portion. I don't want to hit that shade on the lid. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. I like that. Using my Surratt brush just to refine the application here. Tapping in and under that crease line. But I want to, inner corner time. Let me just go with Skin Tense. Skin Tense is fun. Placing that in the inner corner. I think that, yes. Definitely want to go with Amethyst, Astral Amethyst on the lower inner part of my lash line. And of course, go in with Hypnotic Bronze on the rest. So mimicking kind of what I have on the crease, or through the crease rather, and have those shades overlap. So taking it all the way through and carrying Skin Tense Radiance down a little bit so you can see that continuation, that flow. Tapping a little more astral here. All right, round 2 is done. Let's go in with some lashes and I'll be right back. And here is round 2 using Sunlit Seduction. And I find that you can wait to buy this palette. I say that because Blitz Crimson is giving me a little issue where, because of the texture, I don't feel inclined to use that shade as much. And that's just one shade, I understand. Overall, however, this is not too far out in terms of color story, right? This is as basic as you can get. The colors, the shades are lovely. And I know some people who don't have any Pat McGrath palettes because they felt rather intimidated by the color stories. I would say maybe, sure, 1 through 6 could be a little intimidating, especially something like Decadence. But now with 7 through 11, I mean, a lot more subdued. And I think out of all the pink tone, well, maybe with the exclusion of Divine Rose 1, Mothership 7, this is probably one of the most low-key palettes out of the Pat McGrath portfolio. Yeah, 100%. Compared to Moonlit Seduction, I much prefer Moonlit Seduction. I thought this was a phenomenal palette, although one would consider this still basic. I just think it has a little more character. There's a little more pizzazz in Mothership 10 for me, and it's not because this was the video that was sponsored when I worked with the brand. And yes, I had my initials on there too. Just want to put that out there. I do think this is a far better color story. There's fluidity to it, but also in terms of the formula consistency, even these shades here that are a little more chunky, which I get, still nice to apply on the lids or even just lightly tap. It has more of like that stardust feel about it versus these that have a little more of a stronger base, right? It's kind of like a drier metallic thing going on with those shades. Well, let me put Sunlit Seduction up against my beloved Byredo palette. Let me see here. There we go. If you already have Byredo's Remembrance, I think you could hold off on Sunlit Seduction. And while I understand that Byredo is not giving you the same astral moments found in Sunlit Seduction. Maybe you're fine with not having the flakies on your eyes, right? For instance, although Astral Amethyst Allure is gorgeous, right? That has a beautiful tinge to it. You also have the lavender shade from Byredo's Remembrance. And I know it's lighter. It's a lot softer, but I just adore this tone because you can apply it on the inner corner and, you know, just have something else different for your highlight. This is also from Byredo, and I'll compare that with Pat's Copper Dawn. Copper Dawn is giving you more shine because generally Pat's metallics are creamier than Byredo, but Byredo metallics are creamy as well, depending on which one you apply. This is from Remembrance. I think that's lovely. This is more of a bronzy shade. So generally, the Remembrance metallics are a lot softer and I think more lid skin friendly, especially as I was saying with Blitz Crimson. Blitz Crimson, if you have a lot of lid texture, this is going to give you problems. It's going to be tough to apply. It's going to latch on to any folds that you have and accentuate them, which isn't great. Although Byredo doesn't have a color like Crimson, it does have this more kind of wine leaning bronze, which reminds me of Hypnotic Bronze. This is from Pat's palette. So those are very similar. Maybe Hypnotic Bronze has a little more rose to it, whereas the bronze shade from Byredo is more bronze leaning. I think overall, however, you can conclude that the vibe is similar, right? If you already have Remembrance, you might not run to get a Sunlit Seduction. Sunlit Seduction, I think, is lovely, especially if you haven't bought Pat McGrath because none of the color stories really spoke to you. You were a little intimidated by them. If you've been waiting for a basic B palette from Pat McGrath Labs, this is probably one. Most definitely. I would hold this with Divine Rose 1, Mothership 7. Divine Rose 2, Mothership 8, even though it was all pinks, I think the formula consistency in that palette is superb and also is a little more vibrant. This is a little more subdued, 100%, I feel, compared to Divine Rose 2. And even Huetopian Dream. Let me pull out Huetopian Dream. One moment, please. Funny, Huetopian Dream is giving you shades as well, you know, but those are more like the visor shades. All right, Huetopian Dream, a little more pizzazzy. Don't you think? Even the actual shades are insane in here. Yeah, there's a little more body from Huetopian Dream, I feel. Not as much in Sunlit Seduction. Because this shade here, I think this is the Sextasy shade. It's just so much smoother and easier to apply. You see what I'm saying? Compared to the Blitz Crimson shade from Sunlit Seduction, this is just a lot more silky, right? And the actual shades, although chunkier, 100%, it's almost like neon, right? This is the actual shade. It's hard to see on camera for sure, but that has like a more neon feel to it. And the Astral Orchid shade 2 has like a little bit of those blue flecks in there. So that's more of a party. So all that to say, I will wait until this goes on sale for you to consider buying it. If you love to collect Pat McGrath palettes like myself, then sure, that's a no-brainer. If you need to have it, fine, you could buy it. If you're still though on the fence, I will hold off. I would think about it further. Maybe this video helped in you trying to reach that decision whether you should wait or buy right away. But if you have Remembrance, I will hold off. If you have any other palette that houses these shades, these, you know, the rosy browns, the corals, the rosy bronzes, then I think you're good to go. You know, and I understand the astral shades are special, for sure. This is a little bit of a problem. These are all right. They're on the drier side, fine, but they have nice reflectivity. This astral shade is actually giving more of like a base, the Astral Amethyst shade, as well as the Pink Fetish shade. So that's the difference I find with these astral shades from Sunlit Seduction is that they're not giving you topper, they're actually giving you base color with a lot of reflectivity, as opposed to the actual shades found in Huetopian Dream is a lot more translucent, is a lot more topper feeling in that respect. So that is the main difference for me when it comes to the specialized shades, the 4 from each palette. But let me know how you feel about Sunlit Seduction, your initial thoughts after you saw the swatches and after you saw the shades in action. What do you think now? Again, I would wait. You know how many sales Pat McGrath Labs holds throughout the year. I wouldn't be stressed about this selling out. It's not limited edition because it's now a part of the Mothership portfolio, and who knows what 12 will look like. We are hoping that Mother will give us another color story, but I think she reserves the more out there colors for the holiday releases. Maybe we'll see some astral quads for holiday 2023. We would love that. But all that to say, listen, I am grateful to have some relationship with the brand. They sometimes invite me to the events, and I have all of Pat's palettes and I have a number of videos reviewing them. But you know, I think it's okay for me to not feel as enthusiastic about every release, and I think this is one of her weaker ones just in terms of the color story. And given that Blitz Crimson I don't think is the best from her Blitz shades in previous palettes, that could be a turn off for some who, you know, want a seamless experience top to bottom. That might be an issue, a challenge that you might encounter. So those are my initial first impression thoughts. I will go on my membership channel. Maybe I'll do a live or an edited video and do more extensive comparisons between maybe Moonlit Seduction and Huetopian Dream. I could do comparisons with Remembrance, so stay tuned for that. I'll make sure to post that update on the community board. And yeah, I'll continue using the palette to see how it goes, and maybe my thoughts will change on it as I use it more, because I just cracked into it today and this is how I'm feeling now. I don't know how my feelings about it will evolve over time, but I'll keep you updated on that as well. Let me know, friends, what you think down below. I will see you down in those comments, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, Mothership palette video, or look out for comparison updates on my membership channel. Take care, and I will see you again soon.